The first time the name Reiter showed up in the old town books of the 1400s, it wasn't written in ink so much as in soot and hoofprints. Back then, the valley was a narrow place, stitched between dark fir forests and a trade road that everyone wanted to control. Merchants came through with salt and iron. So did raiders. So did the occasional war band that treated villages like stepping stones. The people learned early that survival wasn't a matter of courage alone. It was a matter of preparation. Old Johann Reiter was a rider in the service of a small principality, but Ryder didn't fully capture what he was. He was a watcher of roads, a messenger when peace held, and a shield when it didn't. He was the one who understood that speed mattered as much as steel, that warning a village a day sooner could save a dozen lives. He rode out before dawn, rode back after dusk, and in between he watched the habits of danger. The story goes that one winter a string of attacks began along the trade road. The villages were tired, the soldiers stretched thin. Johann didn't wait for an order. He gathered a handful of riders, a blacksmith and a carpenter who loved puzzles more than sleep. They didn't just patrol, they rethought the problem. They built early warning rigs along the pass, trip lines tied to small bell frames hidden in snowdrifts and brush. Simple tech, but new for the valley. They adjusted saddle tack so riders could carry more without losing speed. They experimented with layered leather and iron plates that spread the force of a blow. None of it was glamorous, but together it turned ambushes into bad plans, and bad plans into retreats. That was the first Reiter pattern: defend people by getting smarter, faster than the threat. Over the generations the tools changed, but the instinct didn't. In the 1500s, as armies moved from lances to early firearms, the Reiters didn't resist the shift, they studied it. Family law keeps Anselm Reiter in a smoky workshop, tuning wheel locks and powder loads so they'd work in damp mountain air. He wasn't a celebrated general, he was the quiet expert commanders trusted. The name grew tied not to loving war, but to cutting waste of motion, training, and lives. In the 1600s, while conflicts rolled across Central Europe, another branch served as protectors of towns. Their creed was simple: if people must fight, they should be trained well enough to finish danger fast, not spill it into the streets. They refined sights, gear, and drills that taught steadiness under pressure, always asking, what keeps the innocent safest? By the 1800s, Reiters crossed oceans with immigrants carrying little more than faith, craft, and hard-won lessons. New uniforms and new threats, same question. How do you keep skill reliable when nerves and chaos surge? In the 1900s, the Reiter instinct for practical innovation went quieter, but never vanished. Some served in police work, some in manufacturing, some as instructors who taught responsibility over bravado. The letters from that era don't boast about being the best shot. They're proudest of the days a shot was never needed. Then came the turn of the 21st century, and with it a realization that the battlefield wasn't only physical anymore. A new kind of danger was spreading: rushed training, overloaded agencies, inexperienced recruits sent into situations where a split second could decide everything. That's where the modern story begins. When Reiter AI Labs developed the Range AI system, it wasn't because the family wanted to chase the latest shiny thing. It was because the old Reiter question had found a new language. How do we help good people be ready when it matters? Only now the workshop smelled less like coal and more like warm laptops. The steel was data. The horse was a camera and a processor that never blinked. The threats were messy, real, human, and the goal was still protection. They built systems that don't glamorize violence. They measure skill. They watch training sessions with careful computer vision and say, here's what happened. Here's what you did well. Here's where you lost time. Here's how to improve, safely. They use real-time analytics to turn moments into lessons. They add calm, context-aware voice coaching that speaks in the tone a good instructor uses after years of keeping people alive. Steady, clear, and focused on doing the right thing. And they aim it where it belongs, with law enforcement officers who need better reps than the calendar allows, with soldiers who need feedback faster than a range day can provide, with everyday defenders who want to train responsibly without guessing what they're doing wrong. The old riders of the 1400s had bells in the snow. The writer engineers of today have models in the cloud. Same purpose, different tools. Readiness without recklessness. We build for the range, the street, and the battlefield. That line isn't a marketing trick. It's the family through line. It's the belief that the best defense is competence, that the safest outcome is the one you never need to fight for, and that if a hard day comes, you meet it with calm hands and a clear mind. And that, in the end, is the whole story. Century after century, tool after tool, the same quiet promise. Be ready, be responsible, and keep people safe.